Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com, and today I want to share with you just some ruminations about BaselWorld 2019. Yes, I'm going again. I've been going to Basel for a few years now. I haven't been going for, 30 years like so many people in the industry have. But I just want to share with you my thoughts on the show, why I'm going. Anyway, so when I started going to the show or the fair, it was, about 2,000 or so exhibitors, 5 buildings in Basel, 5 tremendous buildings. Building 1 and 2 where most of all the watch stuff happened, multi-floors in each. And then as the years have gone by, and I'm sure you've read after 2018, the Swatch Group pulled out. A lot of big names pulled out. Swatch Group brings with it, 30 brands or so that's pulled out of the fair. And the show exhibitor list has been shrinking and shrinking from 2001 year to like 1,300 the next year to like 700. I emailed them back in February, the show, I guess, management, and asked, when is the list going to be put online? Because when you go online, the list wasn't there of the exhibitors. So I want to know who am I going to make appointments with besides my usuals. And they said to me the list won't be out until the end of February, beginning of March, which is kind of weird since the show is like the 3rd week in March. Nonetheless, the list did come out, and it's in such a weird format. You have to keep scrolling down, unless they've changed it since I looked a few days ago. You have to keep scrolling for it to load more people in. So unless you know what you're looking for, like a search by name, you just got to look through all the names, which I did. And I think I counted like 500 or so exhibitors. How many of those are watches? Maybe 3/4. So very sad to see that the list is dwindling so much. And it seems all of the vendors are in one building now. I don't know if the show still encompasses 5 buildings. They're saying building 2 is now kind of like a fashion area kind of thing. But it seems like building 1 used to just be your mostly big names. Level 1 is Rolex, Patek, Tag, all your big names. And then on the 2nd floor was still big names, but not as big. And then in building 2, you guys have heard me say this before, was, the rest of your brands, a lot of your, not really micro brands, but just your smaller brands. Anyway, now this year, everyone's in building 1. Leading up to the fair, I'm not surprised because leading up to the fair, I did get a bunch of emails. When I spoke to vendors last year, they told me, we don't know if we're coming back. Some of them did come back. Some of them chose not to come back. One of them that chose not to come back said to me, it's just not cost effective for us. If you want to see our newest models, we'll send them to you on our dime. You don't like them, you could send them back to us on our dime. And it just made perfect sense for them, and that makes perfect sense to me. I actually got watches in this week from them that I'm checking out, totally risk-free. They save all that money that the fair costs. So the exhibitor list is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. 5 buildings into 1, which for some people it's good. If you're in the press industry and you have to constantly shuttle between different vendors, that's awesome because, a lot less time is spent running around. But, there's little things that, still bother me about it. There's an app for the show. And as of, I'm going to pick up my phone because the app's on my phone. As of, let's see, 2 minutes ago, this is on the 8th of February, you can see the app hasn't even been updated yet. It still has the show information from 2018, which is unbelievable. The show is in 2 weeks. I'll be in Switzerland. And hasn't even been updated yet. Kind of insane. Anyway, so that's one thing I want to discuss, the show size, the app. But why do I keep going? And it's pretty simple. I go because it's still worth my while and worth my time. I'll be at the show for 3 days, or 2.5 roughly, because I'm flying in and going right to it. But I'll be at the show for 2.5 complete days. And right now, the way my schedule looks, it is pretty much jam-packed. Every half-hour block is filled with seeing existing vendors or seeing new vendors. So like I said, for me, it's totally worth my time. I'm not the end user. I'm not the customer. So if you were maybe in England and you were saying, I'm going to fly, it's all one country, right? Kind of, the EU. It's not like us in the US flying to another country. For them, it's a much easier trip. But, maybe you won't go now because there's just not so many brands to go check out for the end consumer. I go again because I can still find stuff. There's still people attending. A lot of the brands that I rep and sell are actually still attending. So I will see them. And it's just a place where the world meets and you can see people from all over the world. I am meeting people from Hong Kong and China there as well because they hit the fair and it's just a common ground. So that's why I go. Who knows what will come of this next year? This is kind of like a big test for them, I would say, because the Swatch Group pulling out and numerous other vendors pulling out really hurts the show from a public visibility standpoint. And can they survive? Can they still pull in the crowds? Because if you can't pull in the crowds of people, you pay admission. No one's gonna, I said this last year. It's a downward spiral. Less vendors are at the show. Less people attend. Less people attend. Next year, less vendors will show again because it's not worth their while. And pretty soon you have nothing. Like I said, as long as it's still worthwhile to me, I will still attend. I think it will be very worthwhile for me this year. And of course, when I get back and I have some time, I will do a quick video on what I see for me. Again, you're not going to see me reviewing anything from the Rolex window or the Patek booth or any of those other high-end stuff. It's all stuff that really is in my wheelhouse that I'll be checking out. So anyway, this has been Mark from LongIslandWatch.com giving you just my kind of thoughts and ruminations about BaselWorld 2019. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below and I'll be sure to address them as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.